Boys are playing basketball around a telephone pole with a backboard bolted to it. Legs. Shouts. The scrape and snap of keds on loose alley pebbles seems to catapult their voices high into the moist March air, blue above the wires. Rabbit Angstrom, coming up the alley in a business suit, stops and watches, though he's 26 and 6'3". So tall, he seems an unlikely rabbit, but the breadth of white face, the pallor of his blue irises, and a nervous flutter under his brief nose as he stabs a cigarette into his mouth partially explain the nickname, which was given to him when he too was a boy. He stands there thinking. The kids keep coming. They keep crowding you up. His standing there makes the real boys feel strange. Eyeballs slide. They're doing this for themselves, not as a show for some adult walking around town in a double-breasted cocoa suit. It seems funny to them, an adult walking up the alley at all. Where's his car? The cigarette makes it more sinister still. Is this one of those going to offer them cigarettes or money to go out in back of the ice plant with him? They've heard of such things, but are not too frightened. There are 6 of them, and 1 of him. The ball, rocketing off the crotch of the rim, leaps over the heads of the 6 and lands at the feet of the 1. He catches it on the short bounce with a quickness that startles them. As they stare, hushed, he sights, squinting through blue clouds of weed smoke, a suddenly dark silhouette like a smokestack against the afternoon spring sky, setting his feet with care, wiggling the ball with nervousness in front of his chest, one widespread white hand on top of the ball and the other underneath, jiggling it patiently to get some adjustment in air itself. The cuticle moons on his fingernails are big. Then the ball seems to ride up the right lapel of his coat and comes off his shoulder as his knees dip down, and it appears the ball will miss because though he shot from an angle, the ball is not going toward the backboard. It was not aimed there. It drops into the circle of the rim, whipping the net with a ladylike whisper. "Hey!" he shouts in pride. "Luck," one of the kids says. "Skill," he answers, and asks, "Hey, okay if I play?" There is no response, just puzzled, silly looks swapped. Rabbit takes off his coat, folds it nicely, and rests it on a clean ash-can lid. Behind him, the dungarees begin to scuffle again. He goes into the scrimmaging thick of them for the ball, flips it from 2 weak, grubby-knuckled child's hands, has it in his own. That old stretched leather feeling makes his whole body go taut, gives his arms wings. It feels like he's reaching down through years to touch this tautness. His arms lift of their own, and the rubber ball floats toward the basket from the top of his head. It feels so right he blinks when the ball drops short, and for a second wonders if it went through the hoop without riffling the net. He asks, "Hey, whose side am I on?" In a wordless shuffle, 2 boys are delegated to be his. They stand the other 4. Though from the start Rabbit handicaps himself by staying 10 feet out from the basket, it is still unfair. Nobody bothers to keep score. The surly silence bothers him. The kids call monosyllables to each other, but to him they don't dare a word. As the game goes on, he can feel them at his legs, getting hot and mad, trying to trip him, but their tongues are still held. He doesn't want this respect. He wants to tell them there's nothing to getting old. It takes nothing. In 10 minutes another boy goes to the other side, so it's just Rabbit Angstrom and 1 kid standing 5. This boy, still midget but already diffident with a kind of rangy ease, is the best of the 6. He wears a knitted cap with a green pompon well down over his ears and level with his eyebrows, giving his head a cretinous look. He's a natural. The way he moves sideways without taking any steps, gliding on a blessing, you can tell. The way he waits before he moves. With luck, he'll become, in time, a crack athlete in the high school. Rabbit knows the way. You climb up through the little grades and then get to the top, and everybody cheers. With the sweat in your eyebrows, you can't see very well, and the noise swirls around you and lifts you up, and then you're out. Not forgotten at first, just out. And it feels good and cool and free. You're out, and sort of melt, and keep lifting until you become like to these kids just one more piece of the sky of adults that hangs over them in the town. A piece that for some queer reason has clouded and visited them. They've not forgotten him. Worse, they never heard of him. Yet in his time, Rabbit was famous through the county. In basketball in his junior year, he set a B-League scoring record that in his senior year he broke with a record that was not broken until 4 years later. That is, 4 years ago.